Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the Wednesday, April 19 Committee of the Whole meeting to order. It's approximately 6:40 p.m. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
Councilman Roth.
Here.
Councilman Shelley.
Here.
Mayor Porter.
Any additions, deletions, deferrals, Mr. Manager? No? None? Tab 1 is the approval of the minutes. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Tab 2, Mr. Manager.
Mayor, staff recommends the mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase two 2017 Ford F-150 4x4 regular cab trucks. The total purchase cost is $57,130. This request is part of the capital improvement plan number 7290729.
Questions from council, Mr. Roth? I got you. Oh, go ahead.
The extended care, does it come with a warranty before that?
Catherine?
I'm sorry, Councilman, I didn't hear your question.
The extended care warranty, is there a warranty prior to extending?
Yes, it's on top of the existing 3-year warranty that the vehicle comes with. It's an extension to that.
In the past, have we used extended warranties or have we used fleet maintenance?
We've always, in the past, we've been getting the extended warranty to go ahead and help out the fleet staff, yes.
And the other question I have is, you have it circled at DB 575 at 1590, and on the purchase order it's DE 575, which is 1860.
Okay,
It's actually below the one that's circled, so was it intended to be the DB 575 or the DE 575?
Councilman, I'll have to take a look at that and find out.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Any other questions from council? Is there a motion to move it?
Move it.
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Anyone opposed to putting 3, 4, and 5 together? They're all mutual aid agreements. Any opposition to that? Tab 3, 4, and 5, do you want to go to Colonel?
Good evening, Mayor, councils. This is all three of these are renewal contracts with the police departments that we utilize during race week. So these are just ongoing renewal contracts that a mutual agreement.
Any questions from council on 3, 4, or 5? Mr. Roth?
I know I'm a stickler. It's on number 3 on the signature page. Just a question. Kathy Swanson, Ribbon Bank or Bark doesn't have a title. Everybody else seems to have a title on all 3 of these proposals. Should she have a title or does it matter? Anybody know that? What I'm saying is the
Next to your signature, George Gretz, city manager. Next to yours, it says Kathy Swanson
Ribbon Bark.
River, but it doesn't say what is she.
She should not. That's it, Mayor. Thanks.
She's nobody.
Not there.
Okay, is there a motion on 3, 4, and 5 to move them? Is there a second? No second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.
Tab 6. Tab 6. Mr. Manager?
Mayor, By Ramos is requesting that the mayor and council authorize the city manager to approve the use of the parking lot at City Hall for a fundraising car wash on July 22nd, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. They would like to host their annual fundraiser at the parking lot. The Big Cheese and Ruby Tuesday would host the event, but the locations are no longer in business. The funds collected at the annual car wash are used to buy back-to-school supplies for local middle school students. Last year's car wash funds provided 100 book bags. By Ramos is currently a a for-profit corporation, applying for the paperwork to convert into a 501c3 corporation. So we're looking for direction on this item. This was a request that just came in.
I can't tell from the picture, where are they talking about on this aerial? Everything is gray that I can see. Where are they talking about?
Where's the water at?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, Mayor, we're not crazy about this idea. It just came to us, and it's really your decision, but, you know, it's, there may be other locations. What's that?
Wait, Mr. Williams.
No, not.
Mr. Williams?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mayor. You said in your synopsis of the,
Not crazy about the idea?
back up from that one. They used to purchase 100 book bags and supplies.
That's what they said, yeah.
That's what it says.
They said last year's car wash funds provided 100 book bags.
Okay. I got 100 book bags upstairs. If they some more book bags. I mean, I don't know if this would, you know, I don't know. I think if we do this, we open ourselves up from other entities. This opens Pandora's box. I mean, we're not talking. I'm not dealing with the organization. It could be a very reputable organization, but for the city to start having car washes at City Hall, I'm not too in favor of that. That's my personal opinion.
Anything else, sir? Mr. Maldonado?
What I thought about this is that, my opinion, they need to be off of US 1, somewhere where there's high traffic areas. This is not the ideal place to hold that. Too, if it was even entertained, obviously when, not for during the weekend, if it was entertained or considered. 3, I mean, it's a good cause, and I believe other organizations would like to do that. And I remember being involved in a youth group raising funds for a good cause. That was one of the ways that we were able to raise some money and make a difference. And so I support it. I'll throw the thought of,
He is talking about direction for this.
yeah, no, for this one, no, for here. But what about our old location for now? It's off of US 1. I don't know if that'd be possible, or if there's...
Dennis?
Mayor, council, the old city hall, we have the water off there, so we have to turn on the water. Or we can probably, help them out with like a hydrant meter, to come off the hydrant. But, the water system is completely off there.
It's not gonna work.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Maldonado?
No.
Mr. Williams?
Okay, let me say this going forward. I'm not in favor of any car washes at any this building or the old building. I just think that and we're not set to do that purpose here. So if they're needing donations for what they're trying to do, then that may be a different avenue. But I won't ever be supporting a car wash here at City Hall.
Are they here tonight?
Are they here today? Feel free to, Mayor,
Answer, the question was, where are we talking about this in the parking lot? Because there's a parking lot here, there's a parking lot there. I can't tell from this.
The water source would be where the garbage dumpster and the generator room is at. That's where we have a spigot. So that's where they would have to wash them, sir.
Okay, all
Right
right.
here. Yeah.
Yes, sir, could you put your name and address for the record, please?
Mr. Mayor, distinguished council, my name is Jaime Ramos. I'm president and founder of By Ramos Inc., a local, up-and-coming, nonprofit 501c3 organization. And I'm here not to take up too much of our council's time, just to ask for permission, as you guys stated, to provide funds, to have our car wash fundraising event, in order to provide at least 100 middle school students with book bags and school supplies each and every year. We've been doing this since 2005. I'm a former employee of Community Bank of Florida, which is now Center State Bank. And it was through individuals such as a now retired Mr. Bob Epling, Willie Carpenter. These gentlemen are the ones who instilled in me to give back to my community, which I am a lifelong resident of Homestead, Florida. So I did come up with this vision back in 2005 that I feel it is my obligation to give back to my community, especially to these teenagers. I mean, looking at all you youngsters up in here, we were all teenagers once, you know, and I want to feel that these teenagers are not forgotten. So that's why I feel as a business owner for profit also, that it is my obligation and duty to give back to the education, to show these kids that they don't have to just go out and do certain things to try to get an education. We are providing them the resources to make sure that they get the best education possible. It is up to them to want that education, but I feel it is our obligation, especially here in the city of Homestead, that we should be able to come up with, by any means, to be able to come up, you know, with these types of funds. So we have all our, you know, everything is good to go. All we need is just a venue, whether it could be here at City Hall or at the newly constructed Homestead Police Department. We would greatly appreciate it. Or if not, if we can find another business, or the only thing I do not need is to have Homestead Code Enforcement, come and shut me down for this cause that we're doing because I have to get a permit. This is the reason why I'm here tonight. I know it's not, you know, our thing to do these car washes, and I totally understand, but this is why I'm hoping that we can all come together, that our city government will be able to actually show and be the example to other cities in Miami-Dade County that we do care about our children. And it is up to us, especially me as a business owner, that even though, you know, you may deny me today, but I still have to make sure that, you know, this fundraiser still keeps going, because as I see is that if we help these teenagers now with their education, maybe by slim chance they'll help us get older just a little bit gracefully. And that way they'll be able to help us create the permanent middle class here in the United States of America. Because now we do see that there is a wealth gap. So hopefully, I believe in my heart that these teenagers are going to help us create the permanent middle class, but it's up to us to make sure that we educate them properly.
Let us get a couple questions in. Mr. Williams?
Yes, thank you. You mentioned some great people that, would Center State Bank allow you to do do a car wash at their bank?
I still keep in contact with them.
Have you asked them if
Not
they
yet.
can do,
I would have
if you
to
can
talk to
do
Mr. Carpenter.
a fundraiser at Center State Bank, since you know you come out of that and you propped them up so well. Perhaps that could be maybe another starting point. Let me just say this: every year, and I know you've been doing this since you said 2005. I've been doing a book bag drive since 2009. 10 or so, and we've given out almost 800 to 1,000 book bags a year. So the efforts I'm doing and the efforts you're doing, could there be some collaborations to fill your need?
Absolutely.
That way, your momentum, you're able to reach more, and then be able to collaborate our efforts to make this partnership, then trying to go this route.
Absolutely. I just need the contacts.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
if you guys,
we already have
I'm
the
sure
infrastructure.
you guys happen to know, you know, nonprofit organizations that you guys are associated with.
Well, it doesn't, for
I'd
us,
love to
it
be a part
doesn't
of that
matter.
with you guys.
For us, as the Southwest Advisory Board, it doesn't matter. We serve the community, so it wouldn't be, if you were for-profit or not-for-profit, we would be partners with you to help fulfill what you're trying to do for the community, without going through all of this route to do it. And so today is not a denial, but it's an open door for you for greater access. And as you say, to make the contacts. So I'm offering, of course, this year to be able to help you with those book bags and for what you're trying to do. So we can do that. I mean, I can do that with the committee, and I'm pretty sure this council wouldn't mind. We have 800 to 1,000 book bags a year, so 100
Well,
is.
with all due respect,
I'm just
like I
giving you
said-
options. I don't want
no,
to belabor
absolutely.
because my son is getting weary And you just said the young people with education, he has homework, so.
Absolutely. That's what we must embrace. And,
Yes.
just real quick, because these are teenagers, and we do see how many teenagers are very materialistic. We go out of our way to actually purchase JanSport book bags for these, which is why we can only get 100. I mean, if, we were to get, accumulate other funds, we would. But for us, we just feel that them having an actual name brand book bag, hopefully that instills in them that we care enough about them that how they look, or even the name brand, that will have them embrace their education even more. And we all know how expensive JanSport book bags are, so that's...
But here's the issue. Nobody's questioning your intentions, anything. The question is, does the city want to start having car washes in the parking lot? That's where we are. So we're not debating or questioning your integrity or anything. But we have to decide, once we do it for one, we have to do it for all. And so we're very protective of the building because it's brand new. We'd like to, it's got to last us 100 years because we've got, a lot of money in this. It's a huge investment for our community. So let us talk a bit about the issue, which is, are we going to start allowing car washes?
Okay.
Without any regards to quality of
Absolutely.
your program. Mr. Roth?
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of agree that the city buildings are not for car washes, but he did bring up a point, and I'm going to extend my ability to help you locate another property in another business that may partner with you to relocate your car wash to. Not taking away from Councilman Williams' offer of 100 book bags, which I think is very generous on his part too. Is there a permit required for him to do a car wash as a fundraiser in the city?
Michelle?
Yes, a special event permit would be required. I can speak to staff tomorrow to see if there's code provision for nonprofits, to see if we can do anything about,
At this point, he's not a nonprofit, so,
then he would
I'll
have
pay
to
the fee.
pay the fee.
I'll pay the fee.
okay.
One other thing we'd like to mention, Julio mentioned, is that South Florida Water Management District is considering restrictions on these types of events, so that could come. Julio, did you want to add? I mean, they might not.
Sorry.
Yes, South Florida is moving towards drought conditions now for this year. The water levels in Okeechobee Lake have dropped tremendously in the last couple of months, and we're not nearly at the water levels that we're supposed to be at. So the district is contemplating having restrictions set on all of South Florida, basically, in a sense. And usually the first thing that they restrict is, water, car washes, irrigation, and those type of uses. That will be the first level of restrictions, and then it goes further on as they get more strict. So that's something that should be coming up very soon.
Has the water, I mean, we've been under those restrictions for a long time now. Did they ever release that? Because I remember rotating cars. If your address was an odd number address, you could wash your car on an even number day or something like that. It was kind of weird, but...
Well, for the past couple of years, those restrictions were gone. They were not active. This is the first year that, for the first couple of months of this year, the levels have not been as high as they expected. So you can tell the grass is pretty much brown everywhere. So, they're contemplating restrictions.
His event's in July, I believe, right? July 22nd. So maybe we'll get some rain by then to help this problem.
Usually rains on that Saturday too.
Oh,
So.
Be that as it may, I mean, I'll see if I can find somebody along US 1, as Elvis suggested as well, that would be much higher profile for you guys. There's a lot of businesses along there that are willing to help children and help, other people in the community to obtain your goals. So you can get with our staff tomorrow, contact our office tomorrow, and they'll put you in touch with me directly, and we can work that way too. And I think the mayor's already said he'd take care of the permit, so.
Appreciate it.
And I has been kind of I'm opposed to the, the concept of a car wash in the parking lot right now. I think there's liability issues. There's a lot of exposure that we bring on ourselves. But I think, you know, you've got a lot of people up here willing to help you do what you need to do to get the job done, but not at this location, in my mind right now. Mr. Shelley, are you there? Would you want to say anything?
I concur with what the discussion has been. It is the same thing. I don't support at this stage doing car washes at City Hall. I think there's a couple issues that have arisen or have already been pointed out by the council. So I support the direction the council seems to be headed.
Okay, so Mr. Manager, the discussion is pretty clear?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll work with you. You've got people up here working with you. Reach out to Mr. Roth, Mr. Williams. When you get to the point where you need the permit access, you know, let my office know, and then we'll help you get set up so you can do your good work. Okay?
Mayor, is it safe to say that any other requests on car washes in city facilities is a no unless you guys ask us to put it on the agenda?
I think it's clear that it's a no at this particular point.
Okay. So if any other requests come in, we're going to say no unless somebody on the council says they want to bring it back.
We'll have to deal with it. Did you want?
I have a couple of executive sessions.
Okay, before we do that, what I'd like to ask is there's some concern in some of the communities about ways to calm the traffic flow in some of the straight through streets. And I'd like for Julio, if you could bring us back some options, because one person may like a speed bump and 10 people may not like a speed bump. And I'd just like for us to be able to have options for, you know, if a community comes up and says, hey, we want speed bumps, well, what other options are there? What can we do? Because I'm getting some calls from the Westbury community, I'm getting some calls from the villages about excessive speed through the neighborhoods. Throw a stop sign up every 10 feet, nobody likes that. So I'd like to let us as a council talk about options for ways to calm the traffic in certain areas. Everybody's probably got the same kind of situation, but I don't want us to knee-jerk and start throwing speed bumps everywhere, and then everybody else gets upset because we got speed bumps in the road. So can we have a discussion, one, you know, in the near future about, at a committee of the whole, just a little bit, some options of what we can do, so when we get calls, we can take it back to our communities and say, this is really offensive. Let's talk, you talk about it and see what you want. So just give us some options, please. Mr. Roth, anything else? I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No, it's okay. But I was going to add that, you know, I've been looking at that for a while, not a speed bump situation, but it's more of a speed hump that I know I've seen in Palmetto Bay in their public streets that helps slow down excessive speed through those 30-mile-an-hour zones like we have out in the villages as well. And it seems to me that the problem we have in the villages is that they've learned if they cut down Audubon, it's a shortcut to South Canal and then over to North Canal by the school over there. So it creates a different type of a traffic pattern there. And the reason they go through that way is because there's no impediments. It's just straight through, one stop sign, and you're back over there. And you're missing the lakeshore traffic, you're missing the four-way, and you're missing the traffic light on North Canal. So I'd looked at those for a long time. I never really researched it, but I thought that Palmetto Bay, I believe it was Palmetto Bay, and maybe Pinecrest has them as well. And they seem to be working pretty good over there. So that gives you an option to look at.
We just need to be able to discuss it and let the community know what we're discussing, because I know there's going to be resistance to some of what we do. So we got to basically do the analysis of the pros and the cons about throwing in these kind of, could negatively affect the police. It could you know, there's a lot of things that it could do. So let's just have a discussion about it, because we're not really prepared when we talk to our community. There's certain things that may not even be allowed. Okay? So let's all of us get clear on what our options are. So when it comes up to us on the street, we can, you know, be intelligent with our discussion and possibly maybe move forward with some traffic calming in some of these areas where we have really serious problems. So anything, Matt.
If you guys are done with discussion, I just had.
Mr. Williams, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mayor, I share your sentiments and in the villages, but also on 4th Street within Southwest. I mean, They speed coming down from Flagler to 6th Avenue. I don't know what could be done there, but there's definitely a problem there. And on Lucy Street, we only own one side, and I think that's, even parts of Redland Road. I mean, I think those corridors that those main, places that people tend to drive to get to their destination, I think really needs to be looked at. So I have a few roads, streets in my area too,
Well,
that we need to, Julio would
Right.
need to look at.
and those things, that's what, in that identification process, we talk about what streets we have jurisdiction over, what we do not. I know the county's using a roundabout process to try to traffic calm in some of their straight-through thoroughfares. So it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all,
Right.
but it gives us an arsenal of weapons to say, okay, this is what, these are the things we could do, at least to help us, because they're all over. It's all over this community of where we're trying to figure out a way to slow down, through these main thoroughfares.
I
So,
want to put a request for 312th Street.
anything else, Mr. Williams? I'm sorry.
Yeah, then also, I deal with too some of the alleyways. Sometimes they cut through, there's an opening, and they cut through somebody's property to get to the next street, where there used to be a big part of the road, the road that was raised up to where they couldn't. And for some reason, Public Works, I'm not sure what happened, but some of the alleyways need to be looked at. So, because sometimes a person's are cutting through person's property to get to the other street, which is unsafe if you have children playing. So, I think you have a great conversation about that. And I know on the west side of town, we have alleyways, and sometimes those need to be looked at as well, because people use those to speed and do certain things.
Gotcha.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
No.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Pearl?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to quickly request a few executive sessions. The first is James McDonough versus City of Homestead. It's Miami-Dade Circuit Court case number 16-12412. James McDonough v. City of Homestead in U.S. District Court, the Southern District, case number 116 CV 24524, and Cranert versus City of Homestead in the Southern District. It's case number 1-17 CV 20739. Thank you.
Mr. Shelley, I forgot. Are you okay? Did you have anything else you needed to say?
I do not know.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.